Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Shri Guru Charan Saroj Raja Nijman Mukur Sudhari Varnau Raghuvar Vimal Jasu Jodayak Falachari Buddhihina Tanu Janike Sumiro Pavan Kumar Bala Buddhi Vidya Dehu Mohi Harahu Kales Vikar Siyavar Ramachandra Ki Jai Pavan Sutta Hanuman Ki Jai Umapati Mahadev Ki Jai Bolo Bhai Sab Santan Ki Jai. So what if we have fallen? But nothing and no one can stop us from rising again. The moment Sitaji reached Lanka and said no to the object of senses, realizing what a big mistake she did for being attracted to just one deer, and keeping her mind steady, constantly knowing that Ram alone is supreme and there is no other source of happiness. In fact, there is no other real source of happiness. And Ratati Rahi Hari Naam. She kept on chanting the name of Ram. And from here onwards is the glory of the name of Sri Ram. As much as the seeker pines for the truth, as much as the devotee pines for the beloved Lord, to that extent, Bhagwan is pining for his devotee. Not finding Sita in the ashram, Ramchandraji weeping searches for Sita and comes across Jatayu on the way. Jatayu tells Ramchandraji the whole story, that how this Nisachar Rakshas came and deceitfully kidnapped Sita and has taken her towards the south. And not worrying about his own life, pleads to Ramchandraji that please go and save my daughter Sita. In the story it is like this. But this is the determination of the Jatayu, that when grabbed by delusion, just like Arjuna was, just like Sita was, it is that spirit of Jatayu to stop not till you achieve your goal. He fought. We should not live in the fear of failure. If the goal appears to be so high and mighty, it is infinitude and it is infinite bliss. We think that, to get out of this clutches of this delusion and all this materialism and the senses, the mind, when we start feeling that this is very, very difficult. But they alone are successful who have the spirit of Jatayu. I will live or die, but I will free Sita and get back that peace. Jatayu may have at that moment lost his wings, but his spirit that he told Ramchandraji and kept his life till he told Ramchandraji who has taken Sita and in which direction. And eventually, Jatayu was successful. This spirit, now all the vultures, the monkeys, the bears, and their stories that come, Goswami Tulsidas Ji has said, they represent all our Shubha Gunas, all our good, noble, auspicious thoughts. As such, our thoughts of our mind are like monkeys jumping here, there, everywhere. But these thoughts, when they are channelized, they become a mighty force to tear through this veil of illusion, to fight against the hordes of negativities that arise due to our delusion, the Rakshasas. Bhagwan moves towards the south. And as he comes to south to Pampa Sarovar, he meets another person, and this is Shabri. The story of Shabri is most touching and beautiful, that how she fed Ramchandraji with whatever she had. These stories are so beautiful, heart-touching. But Shabri, what does she represent? I cannot tell you the whole story right now. But her guru told her that now that I am departing, here I am giving you Ram Nam. You just remember him and you wait here and Ram will come to you. She says, but I have not been an intelligent person. You taught all your disciples. He said, my disciples learnt all the knowledge and they will go outside speaking about it. She says, but I do not understand. I don't even know who Ram is. He said, you just keep taking the name of Ram and Ram will come to you. She said, but how will I recognize? He said, he will make you recognize. That's why in the Gita, Bhagavan says, Buddhi Yogam Dadamyaham. She says, I am unintelligent. I don't even understand what you say. But her single-pointed devotion, her seva and her shraddha, her service and her faith in her guru. Years have passed away. Most seekers, they want to meditate 1 or 2 days and then say nothing is happening. People take a mala and do japa and count how many times they have done it and they give it up, but not the wanderings of the mind. Unlike Surpanakha, who now and then goes to the Lord and then runs away, attracted to Lakshman, the fair Lakshman. Here, Shabri, it is with her shraddha, firm faith and conviction in the truth of the words of her guru, that years have passed away. She has aged. Her eyes dulled with cataract, bent with age. Yet each day with that anticipation that today my Lord is going to come to me. Today I am going to have the vision of the Lord. She waits with that firm faith that my words of my Guru, the words of my Guru is infallible. And therefore each day She prepares for his coming, for his worship, cleans the path, sets the comfortable seat, collects the sweetest of berries, so that when the Lord comes, she's not distracted, she's not able to serve. Each of these, when we develop within ourselves, that much closer the Lord, the truth, is coming to us. Listening to Shabri's Shraddha and her steadiness, we invoke that steadiness in us. And that sweetness of hers, that Bhagwan praises her devotion. That Prathama Bhagati Santana Kara Sangha. She kept the company of Matanga Maharishi. And look at the devotion that she got. She then tells Ramchandraji that go to Rishamukh Parvat. Go to that hillock called as Rishamukh. And there you will find Sugriv with few of his vanars. My Guru has told me to tell you this. These are the signs that Bhagwan is approaching close to us. When we have the simple, single-pointed faith and devotion of Shabri, and with whatever we have, just berries, patram, pushpam, phalam, toyam. Lord does not require this huge paraphernalia to worship, to express our devotion. With love, even the smallest gift given delights the heart of the beloved and shows your love to the beloved. Not by huge or extravagant gifts for show off, like Duryodhan wanted to give to Krishna, but Vidur's wife just gave the skin of the banana to Krishna, and that was dear to Krishna, for which he came back again and again to Vibhishan's house, giving up the showing banquet or show off banquet of Duryodhan. Don't think, poor me. Whatever you have, even if it is just berries, sweeten it with your love and offer it to the Lord. The fruits of your action, surrender it to the Lord. Bhagwan then moves towards Rishamukh Parvat. There at Rishamukh Parvat resides Sugriv along with some of his Vanaras. Vanaras people translate as monkeys, but let us say it's the missing link between the apes and the human beings, an intelligent race of humanoids. But leaving that aside right now to get into the discussion of history and science, all these monkeys, as I said, represent our thoughts. And when they are channelized, they become noble, they become virtues. Bhagwan comes towards Rishamukh Parvat. There Sugriv is living there in fear of Vali. That story is very famous of Vali and Sugriv. We won't venture into it right now because of the shortage of time. But here, who is Vali? Who is Sugriv? It is said that Vali had the power and the boon given to him that whoever comes in front of him, half his energy would be deprived or strength would be deprived and would come to Bali. And Bali himself was so strong, plus the energy deprived comes to him. Therefore, no one could fight against Vali. Puja Gurudev had explained very beautifully. And again, the inner link of this is found in the Bhagavad Gita itself. Vali wants to attack and kill Sugriv. Sugriv escapes from Vali and finds one place where Vali is cursed not to come. And Vali cannot attack him, Vali cannot harm him, and that is Rishamukh. When we are Rishimukha, when we are in satsang, and we keep company of virtuous people, just as Jambavan, Hanuman, confident, courageous, and virtuous. Sugriv lives amongst them, feeling protected, but always on the watch out that when the attack of Vali will happen. And then Ramchandraji and Lakshmanji are coming towards him. An opportunity is coming towards him, but when you live in such suspicion that he wants to run away, but counseled by Sugriv, counseled by Jambavan and Hanumanji, trusting Hanuman and telling him, take a form of a brahmachari from an ashram, a student, as a Brahmin, go and find out if these are enemies or foes. Many beautiful significances are there. But in this context, as I said, as Sita takes in her mind these steps, Bhagwan comes assisting to the devotee, to the seeker, closer and closer, conquering all those that led the seeker, the devotee, away from the Lord. When Bhagwan approaches Rishamukh Parvat, Hanuman comes and greets Ramchandraji to find out who are these two princes. Most beautiful, beautiful section. And you know, when I speak on Hanuman Chalisa and Sankat Mochan, this is one of the, and Sundar Kand, there is so much beauty in this that you can go on speaking endlessly. This is also a place where the devotee and the Lord meet. But here we have to understand, in the journey of the Ramayana, that Hanuman tries to find out, because in our meditation, when we are listening to the discourses of the Guru, the scriptures, we can start getting glimpses, yet we doubt. And why can we not fully experience it? Because when we go in a disguise, even the Lord remains veiled from us. When Hanumanji recognizes Bhagwan and drops all his mask and veilings, and in devotion you cannot pretend, he gets the embrace of Bhagwan. This brahmachari, this student of Surya Devata, Hanuman, this Hanuman that represents the single-pointed mind full of devotion, now becomes the messenger, the sevak of the Lord. And he takes Bhagwan to Sugriv. Sugriv itself, the word means one who is well trained. And he's escaping constantly from Vali because he knows that Vali can attack him and kill him. Vali represents that sense objects and sense stimuli sense pleasure, and everyone who is trying to control his senses and his mind, such a person knows what a threat these sense stimuli can be to his or her mind, just as Sita ji realized. How do you conquer these senses and the mind not to be overpowered by the sense objects? Even in Kathopanishad it is said, the sense objects are more powerful than the senses. Not that the objects themselves grab you, but when our senses are turned extrovert, these sense objects we get fascinated by, and even if we are trying to refrain from ourselves, refrain from these objects, the mind gets carried away with these objects. Even as Bhagavad Gita says, the intelligent person, that's why we see what happened to Mother Sita also. How do you conquer this Vali? Shri Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, again in the 2nd chapter, Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinaha. That the objects turn away from those who refrain from objects. Sugriv, keeping himself protected in Rishamukh, facing the rishis in satsang, has kept himself from the objects. But how long can you escape from the objects? But yet you know that when a drinker faces the bottle, his power just goes away of even conviction from refraining. And therefore, at first you stay away from the sense objects. But the fear of falling for them, as well as the like or dislike for them, that rasa for them still is. And therefore you live in constant fear. When will be the next attack? In the same way, Sugriv lived in fear. But now that Hanuman has brought Ramchandra ji to him, and he has made this friendship with Ramchandra ji, Ramchandra ji says, go challenge and bring him to the forefront. Sugriv says, my brother is very powerful, but more powerful than any pleasure of sense objects is the bliss that lies within us. Bhagavan says, go and face the objects and conquer them once and for all. Sugriv goes, at first is defeated. And this is how you conquer the sense object. When you refrain from them, turn your mind towards the higher. And when you get that inspiration and strength from the higher, then when you face those objects, you conquer your desire for them. Vali is conquered. Yeah? And therefore, they have to be shot from behind only, not from the front. Facing sense objects that you have got attraction towards, and say that, I'll get over the desire of it, I will exhaust my desires. You will get only entangled and perish in it. Therefore, this beautiful secret is revealed. And as we meditate on this story, the inner mind recognizes through faith, through devotion, that power of the Lord. And once it begins to taste the higher bliss, these sense objects are rejected from behind only. And Vali is defeated. Then this Angad, the son of Vali, this body can be in the service of the Lord. And that Angad also becomes invincible. Now that all these monkeys, vanars, bears are now ruled by Sugriv. Even though the story says how Sugriv also left to be comfortable for 4 months, forgets that he has to serve. Therefore, do not just relax. Be alert and vigilant. And Hanumanji is there to remind Sugriv that now we have to find Sita. And Sita represents peace. Sugriv gets all the monkeys gathered and sends them in all the direction to find peace. Sita. Sita represents spiritual knowledge from the standpoint of the monkeys. Spiritual culture, Sita represents success, Sita represents peace. But in the highest sense, that peace that passes all understanding. All the monkeys gather. But Bhagavan knows that only Hanumanji will be able to find Sita. He says, Hanumanji says, give me some sign. And Ramchandraji gives his ring and the message for Sita to Hanuman. When the seeker seeks the truth and truth, the Lord and Lord alone, when the mind seeks the Atma and Atma alone, the most wonderful thing happens, that the Lord sends all these positive thoughts. But a greater thing happens, that Hanumanji is sent to Sita. Hanuman represents that devotee, that Santa who has known the truth, that devotee, that saint, and therefore the Guru. These monkeys all gather and come to the shores of Bharat. And in front is the ocean. Angad ke sang lena gaye siya khoj kapis yah baina ucharo. All these monkeys with such enthusiasm had left to find Sita. In meditation, all our thoughts with enthusiasm go to find peace. But in the end, it's finally the back is paining. We are tired. How much time we have to sit? Angad, with body attachment. When you go, the body is the vehicle. But with body attachment we go. We lose courage. We lose enthusiasm. Hunger and thirst comes in. We don't have the confidence, because here is an ocean of 800 miles. And how significant is this ocean of Shatajojan? 800 miles. 8 is the number of Maya, Prakriti. this ocean of samsara, only that devotee, that sant, that guru, Hanumanji, can cross the ocean to bring the message of Ram to us. Of course, in between there are these obstacles, the tendency to rest, our tendency to make everything like sursa, a prestige issue. When we develop the enthusiasm. So first and foremost is this tendency to rest. But Hanumanji shows us that you can move forward if you move with that devotion. Ram kaj karibe ko atur. Ram kaj kiye binu mohi kaha vishram. Stop not till you reach the goal. And therefore, this tendency to take a break or rest, the moment the seeker conquers, that much closer the message of the Lord, the instruction of the Lord is coming closer to us. On the way, Sursa comes, wanting to devour Hanumanji. And the bigger she opens the mouth, the bigger Hanumanji becomes, the bigger she opens her mouth. But Hanumanji becomes small and goes into her mouth and comes out. This mind is not to be conquered with might, but with strategy. Chaturai. Yeah. Do not battle with the mind who is stronger. Yeah. Be humble and get out of the situation. And here Hanumanji gets out, doesn't make a prestige issue. Also, Sursa represents greed. Mighty powers can arise from within yourself. But keep your needs to the minimum, because greed has got no limit. And then on the way comes Sinika, the deadly sister of Ravan, who pulls Hanumanji down. And that is jealousy. These negative tendencies should be immediately destroyed. Tendency to rest, overcome. With cleverness and humility, get out of greed, prestige issues, etc. But destroy immediately all these negative tendencies as jealousy, comparisons, etc. That much closer comes the Guru, the messenger of the Lord. And the Guru has been explained, Bodhamayam Nityam, is of the nature of knowledge. Puja Gurudev used to explain very beautifully that the physical Guru outside is invoking the Guru within, and the pure intellect is the Guru. Therefore, Buddhimatam Varishtam, the Guru is the best of the intelligent. Each of these obstacles as we cross in our meditation and on our spiritual path, that much closer the messenger of the Lord, the Guru, comes to us, and that much closer comes the message of the Lord to us. Isn't it beautiful? That's why we invoke Hanumanji. It is not some idol worship. No? Our mind knows how to click on the icon to unfold and manifest the program on our screen. In this manner, Hanumanji reaches Lanka. There also Lankini. It is called Kumati. And Hanumanji's Kumati Nivar Sumati Ke Sangi. Lankini is protecting a thief's Lanka. And Hanumanji is coming there. And she's calling Hanumanji a thief. Isn't this world like that only, Kumati? We will entertain selfish, greedy guests. But when the saint and guru comes to our house, we want to shun away. This also happens. This is called Kumati. We are serving this ego, a slave to the ego, and we are suspicious of those well-wishers who are coming to give us this spiritual knowledge. This is called Kumati. Crooked thoughts come into our intellect. We give importance to the world of temporary sense objects and not to that which is permanent, everlasting. This is called Kumati. Hanumanji gives her one box, she bleeds, Rajas goes away. And when Sattva returns, you recognize who has come in front of you. And she realizes that the messenger has come. She says, go to Lanka, and there you will find Sita. Go fearlessly, I will not stop you. And when your Kumati becomes Sumati, when your distorted thoughts, suddenly mind throws out some distorted thoughts, some suspicious thoughts. Yeah. Some distortion takes place in our intellect. We give more importance to our positions, names, etc. And even in our seva to the Lord, even in our meditation. And people want to give up seva so that they want to go and meditate. They're not giving up the ego, that false thinking, the false attitude. The moment we give up that, Hanumanji enters into Lanka. And entering Lanka, he searches everywhere, but does not find Sita. Even in the palace of Ravan he goes. And finally, even in Lanka, Lanka also is the inner equipment of a material mind, where lives these three egos, identified with the three gunas of Prakriti or Maya: Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. And therefore we have there Vibhishan, we have Ravan and Kumbhakaran. Hanumanji recognizes Vibhishan, and that Vibhishan, in even the most sensuous place, in the most materialistic place, even the most materialistic minds, there is a little bit of sattva. And the saints, sages, gurus know how to strengthen that sattva in your Lanka. Vibhishan was praying but still did not have the courage, strength. But empowered by Hanumanji, Vibhishan left Ravan when he gave him advice for his well-being. Later on leaves Lanka because He's empowered by Sumati. He's powered by Hanumanji. And to him, Hanumanji gives the secret of surrender. Hanumanji goes to Ashok Vatika and there finds Mother Sita. Yeah? Krish Tanu, Jata Ik Beni. Constantly with every breath, every thought, only Ram, 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 Ram. Surrounded by these Rakshasas. Even Ravan comes there, tempting her, threatening her. But Sita remains steady, unrelenting. Hanumanji recognizes, and when all temptations, all fears, threats do not work on the devotee who single-pointedly thinks only of the Lord, whose life is only for the Lord, Hanumanji comes with the ring of the Lord, with the message that Bhagwan is coming. The ring of the Lord also has the name of the Lord. That assurance that keep calling out with love, and Bhagwan is coming. Sita ji gets the message of Hanumanji and is consoled. Otherwise, how does the seeker know where am I progressing? How am I progressing? Am I getting closer to the goal? Is the Lord coming close to me? It is only the Guru can assure us. That message, and when that assurance comes, and it is said throughout the Ramayana that when a devotee, a saint, and when the Guru comes into our life, then it is sure, Acharyavan Purusho Veda, that one to whom the Guru has come is bound to know, is bound to gain. Now, Hanumanji takes the message back to Ramchandraji and Bhagwan comes to Lanka. And that last portion we shall see in our next session. Om. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram, 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 Jaya Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram. You can hear how Pavanasuta, Hanuman, is storming away, bringing you very quickly Bhagwan. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.